Now, this is coming from somebody who did watch the Law and Order episode that you failed to watch, Elliot. Now, what they didn't tell you is that it was based on something. Something that I'd rather not speak on publicly because honestly, nobody else deserves to know what the fuck it was about if they don't already know. As far as I'm concerned, NBC made all horrorcore fans into juggalos by stereotyping every fan that goes to a horrorcore event as a juggalo, which is pretty much false and bullshit because on a lot of the horrorcore websites, they have a lot of anti juggalo propaganda as well as people who don't really like juggalos. You know? I mean, horrorcore heads and juggalos haven't really gotten along for a long time. It's been one of those little back and forth, little bashing on each other bullshit things, you know? It's one thing, it's not another, you know? I mean, just some dumb shit, really, you know? But, I mean, the funniest part about it is, like, I have never seen a juggalo at any horrorcore show that I've ever gone to. Not an openly fucking juggalo dude, you know? Maybe people who were juggalos in the past are horrorcore fans now, but I mean, there's a big difference. You know, juggalos usually go to Twisted, ICP, you know, a couple other shows every so often, you know. Pretty much anybody that ICP approves of as far as going to shows, you know. That's usually where juggalos end up. The only exceptions that I can really think of are, you know, the folks on LSP and a couple other, you know, key people who, you know, have juggalos all around, you know, and the juggalos respect them and they respect the juggalos, you know. But I mean, pretty much everywhere else, you know, it's always the ongoing discussion of people don't want to be classified as a juggalo, you know, and all this other shit. So, I mean, what it really comes down to is stereotyping the horrorcore community as juggalos is really fucking whack to me because I mean horrorcore.com, all these other websites, Kill Music, you know, there's no fucking juggalo shit there. There's no fucking propaganda. They have maybe like one little section for Dark Carnival or whatever, you know. But they also have fucking sections for hip hop and hardcore rap, you know. It doesn't mean that it's a juggalo community, you know. It's basically for people who like the wicked shit, you know. And people can argue up and down all day that ICP is the wicked shit, blah, 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 but it preceded ICP if you do your homework. Look it up. You'll see that I'm right. Fucking flatliners, gravediggers, fucking gangsta nip. Shit that people should read about, you know, insane poetry. But then you got these motherfuckers that are all like, oh, ICP created the wicked shit. Shut the fuck up. No, they didn't. But what I was very angry about was a certain person that will remain nameless because he's already gotten a fucking promotion off NBC. You fucking cocksucker. I hate you. I really hate you. That's all I can say. He's the one that y'all should be fucking mad at right there. That cocksucker right there. I'm still not gonna say the fucker's name just because I fucking hate him that much for what he done. But yeah, fuck NBC for having really shitty writers that didn't do their homework on this, and I love Law and Order to death. All I gotta say is, Ice T wouldn't have let this happen if it was an SVU episode. He would have known a lot better, dude, because he's done his fucking homework. He's been around the block. He knows what the fuck horrorcore is. He knows the difference between being a juggalo and being in horrorcore, you know? I mean, the juggalo community essentially has a, how do I say, sort of a unity undertone to it, you know? Everybody's down kind of thing, you know? But the horrorcore community, you kind of have to be one of those true till death kind of people, you know? You can't drift away from all of it, you know what I mean? And it's usually like fucking metal fans that come around to horrorcore as opposed to juggalos because it's a really tight knit community, you know? So, I mean, overall, I'd say that fucking NBC portrayed the horrorcore community very inaccurately. And to try to mash them together like that, you know, it's just really stupid, you know? I mean, sure, there's some artists that people consider hardcore that get on tours with ICP and a couple other folks, but, you know, doing actual hardcore events and being the hardcore events and all that shit, you don't see ICP, you don't see Twisted, you don't see none of that. I mean, back in the day, Twisted with House of Crazies, you might have seen Bedlam or something like that, KGP. That's some shit you might have seen, but as far as new school shit, Psychopathic has their own ball game, that's their own fucking deal. And to really take that and make it all fucking one big old thing, it's just stupid. I just think it's really wrong and retarded. And I just don't think that people were thinking when they made that, personally. So, I'd say I agree with you, Elliot, because I did watch it and I do believe that it was written very poorly. But I also believe that they shouldn't have written this so goddamn early when the wounds were still fresh. The alleged case that they base this after hasn't even been brought to trial yet, so it's all speculation. And I think that's even worse. I think the details that they put into it was really just whack and stupid personally to do, and I think that they should have really thought twice about better taste as far as that. As well as they double it up on the episodes. I don't know what they were thinking with that. Usually I think it's only 1 hour for Law and Order. But they made it like the first hour was this episode in particular, and then another one after it. And I don't understand why they do that. It's a 2 hour episode. Like, they just completely just erase the significance of the one episode there. So it wasn't even a significant story to them. I don't know why they even ran it if they didn't, think it was significant enough to consume the whole night. And I found it very stupid, very campy, very inaccurate, and very confusing as well. All things considered, probably the worst episode of Law and Order I've ever seen in my life. And I'm not just saying that because I was in horrorcore or anything. I'm saying it was just very poorly written and very poorly factually true. And while they warn, it's all fictional and all that shit, not based after any actual events or anything, you could tell that it was. So, Law and Order, why the fuck you lying to people? That doesn't make sense. You make episodes about Bernie Madoff and you make episodes about all this other shit. And you have that disclaimer. I mean, loosely based, yes, but you should at least put that. This is based off of, loosely, or loosely based off of news events, and that would make more sense, really, as opposed to it's completely fictional. I mean, because it's not, you know, and it's just speculation, of course, but still, things to consider. Law and Order. When you're gonna put a music scene on blast, when you're gonna have people talk about certain things, you should do your homework first because people will get angry at you. And I'm not saying people will do shit because honestly, no, that's not gonna happen. I mean, fuck it. I'll still watch Law and Order. I like SVU personally. And I think, just seeing horrorcore being spoken on television was really awkward for me, personally. But, I don't know. Think what everybody wants to think or whatever about the wicked shit or horrorcore or juggalos. I don't really care. But the fact of the matter is that it was very poorly done and it could have been like 3,000 times better if they just did their fucking homework. Alright? Alright. Well, I'm outie for now, kids. Later days.